And we corrected him to say that is not according to the evidence of the expert and according to the table. The table has been read into the record. It's there. It's part of the evidence.
No, man, the state misunderstand me. I am saying, in the DNA profile of the exhibits that they went to take from accused number 1, they indeed found that this relates to it's a male DNA profile. And I am saying, I mean, number three. And I am saying, I've got no doubt to believe that that was indeed his DNA profile. Because those exhibits from which this DNA was extracted, they belong to him. I'm not talking about the head as yet. I'm talking about what was found in the samples that was taken from accused number 3.
Malot, really, we don't want to believe at the point, but you take a sample to extract DNA to compare it with the exhibits. How can you find a mixture on your own sample? It's a sample, they extract a DNA profile, and they compare this profile with the DNA profile on the scene.
No, the state is lost, 100 miles lost. That tells me, Mano, that it does not understand how DNA works. I'm not talking about a comparison here as yet. I am talking about exclusively what was found in accused number 3. They found that the DNA that they were able to extract from the samples that the police submitted to them, they indeed belong to a male person. There's no mixture there. And I am saying, I've got no doubt in my mind that what the scientists found, that this was a male DNA, indeed belonged to accused number 3, because the samples were found from him. I'm not talking about mixture or anything here. You may not know that because you're not a scientist. Not so.
You know, yesterday, Advocate Baloyi ran away when Omnisi was asking for specific documents. He ran away, asked for an adjournment, and then they had the conversation on the side. And what were those documents? The AVL. He should have saved that runaway button for this moment. There is no way that Advocate Baloyi thinks what he's saying makes sense. Like, this is an embarrassment. This is an embarrassment. And someone needs to intervene, because clearly this judge is not going to intervene and tell him, sir, that is not what XY chromosome means. Like, how can Baloyi say that? How many other humans, and I have to say humans at this point, have been convicted by Baloyi's belief of how DNA chromosomes work? And I haven't done chromosomes in decades. I'm not going to tell you how many, but okay, it's a couple of decades because I don't want to give out my age. But as soon as they said XY, XX, the mind comes back. It comes back. This is ridiculous.
Now,
can I respond, my lord? I want to respond to this assertion.
I'll give you the opportunity to respond, Brigadier Gininda. The purpose of this whole exercise was to come to the following. Now, scientists have told this court that the DNA profile that was found in the head, which was allegedly left by one of the intruders in the house, could not match or be matched with the DNA profile that was found from accused number 3, or that was extracted or received from accused number 3. Now, do you understand up to that fact?
I do understand what is
Thank you. I'll give you time to respond.
No, I have to, my lord, because
I'll give you time to respond, Brigadier.
But my answer is not finished. So this is one part. A whole lot of statements was put to me, my lord. So I need to deal with it. So that
I will remind you. If you've forgotten them, I'll remind you.
No, can I?
But this is what I want to say, Brigadier Gininda. I'm asking you questions. You must be led by me.
No, but my lord, the yes answer, if I leave it like that, it's incorrect, because it will seem like I'm agreeing with the wrong notion. I'm saying, yes, I understand what is being put to me, but I disagree with what Advocate Mzansi is saying. He's saying the analysis, for example, of the expert says accused 1, 2...
Brigadier Gininda,
can I finish, my
Brigadier Gininda, this is what is on record. That is not yet what I'm putting to you.
My lord,
what I'm going to put to you is still coming.
No, but
and this is what I'm putting to you.
He's attacking your thesis.
It is not my thesis,
no,
it is the science thesis.
Yeah, fine. He's attacking.
This is what the scientists are saying. This does not
that.
come from me.
Just listen.
Yes.
He's attacking that thesis. And he
The
says,
scientist says, my lord.
yeah, it doesn't matter who.
Oh, thank you.
This is what he says. And then he says if he lets it go, it would seem as if he's agreeing with that thesis.
Okay,
Am I
thank you.
interpreting you correctly?
Correct, my lord.
Right,
And-
just
and-
tell us why you say that.
Correct, my lord. And I'm saying what Advocate Nisi is putting to me. He
Yeah.
said to me, my lord, and to put it separate, he said the analysis, the word analysis was used by the expert, the captain, to exclude 1 up to 5 in this. And I disagree with that because that part is referring to is the conclusion, is the finding. The analysis lies above that report. And if you read the analysis of the expert, you will find that some of the accused are read into the DNA. So he's reading that part out of context, and that is why I say I cannot leave it like that because it will look like I agree with him, and that's incorrect because the analysis, the actual examination, that's how I understand analyzing something means. The analysis by the expert reads accused, for example, number 3, and as Advocate Baloyi correctly said, in terms of the regions that he can read in that profile, but he also reads accused 2. So to say they are completely excluded under analysis, it's incorrect. But to say to me on his finding or conclusion, he excluded them, then we'll find each other, but not on the analysis, and that's where we differ.
That I say. Now, with all this information that comes from the scientist, do you still insist that on your little analysis and what do you call it now, and your corroboration, you still insist that accused number 3 was the person that was wearing that hat on that day, in the background of this DNA analysis?
I don't know what counsel is referring to as little analysis. I hope he's not trying to belittle the witness.
No, I'm not belittling this witness, man. This witness has always been saying, with my understanding, on the background of the fact that he's not a scientist, you see. So he has got a limited knowledge with regard to what the scientist would have said. That is in that context. I'll never belittle a witness, Mr. Baloyi. I've been here for a very long time.
My lord, I've dealt with the part of an expert, and I've said it over and over again, I'm not an expert. But that does not make me unable to read the report. The same knowledge that I have insofar as reading the report and not being an expert applies to Advocate Mnisi as well. He's not a scientist. I'm reading what the document contains, and I'm saying what I've read in black and white. That's the first part, my lord. Now, secondly, my lord, to answer the question that has been put to me, I'm not insisting on anything. I was given a mandate to investigate. And during the course of the investigation, the DNA, is what I discovered. The expert, when I consulted with him prior to him coming to give testimony, that's the explanation he gave me, and he said he can read accused 3 in particular, because we're dealing with him, in certain regions. And that, my lord, as I've said, was prudent for me to know, because we are dealing with allegations where this accused now a cited suspect. Do you have corroborating evidence to place them there? For example, if he had said, no, I can't read him at all, yet the evidence that we have at the time points that the shooter was wearing the hat, and we can connect the alleged shooter to accused number 3. Clearly, it would have shown that there's something wrong. So it was important for me to know these things. And I'm not by any means saying I'm interpreting his report. I'm simply talking about his analysis. It is different from saying I cannot read accused 3 in any regions than saying I can read him in certain regions, but I can't read him in all 16 to make a conclusive finding. That's not the same interpretation, my lord.
Everything happens for a reason, and on yesterday we got to see the state make a fool of himself. And then we saw Brigadier Bongani Nicholas Gininda jump into the pool as well and make a fool of himself while explaining this DNA evidence. It is clear. It is clear there is some misinformation going on with regards to DNA evidence. And I'm just happy they don't have to be in the DNA lab trying to mix the chromosomes. And then, do they even know that it is the male chromosome mixed with the female chromosome, and then they mix. Okay, you know what, let me not even get into it. I think I'll just confuse the state. At this point I'll be confusing the state. I'm just happy they don't ever have to figure out the gender of a baby. They don't have to figure out how that happens, and they don't have to explain how a baby is either a boy or a girl, or if they're twins. You know what, let me stay out of that conversation, because they are already confused on their own when it comes to just the male gene. You know, if they were confused in explaining the female gene, the female chromosomes, I'd understand. I'll be quite forgiving. But the male chromosome? Come on. This is so embarrassing. This is disappointing. And I have said it before. In this case, they need to have advisors or assessors just like they did inside Pagati, the Oscar Pistorius case. There was the judge seated high up there, and then there were the two additional judges who were lower than the judge who were there to assist the court. Because there's a lot of assistance here, okay? Because this judge, he seems to also believe in this chromosome don mix up. This is crazy to me, but let's continue listening on, okay? Let's continue listening on.
Are you done?
Yes, my lord.
Thank you, Brigadier. That will conclude the cross-examination on behalf of accused number 3. But with a rider, that we still have those documents that I still have to get from the state. Those documents that are coming from all the Platteland areas there.
I understand, my lord.
My lord, realize that it's almost 15 minutes to 1 o'clock. I'm getting tired. I request that we get an early break for the lunch.
Again.
Yes, my lord. The court will remember that when everybody was else at a very good time.
What's that?
I'm saying the court would remember that when everybody else was having some good time, I was sweating.
Is it?
Thank you, my lord.
I'm looking at Mr. Mamaro. He was also sweating. Okay. 2 o'clock then, is it?
Yes, my lord.
Ah, it does.